Well, March Madness is here. You have until tomorrow morning to fill out your NCAA college basketball bracket.
Some people depend on luck when making their choices to win the office pool, but others use math.
Laura Albert is a professor of industrial and systems engineering at UW-Madison. She's also our go-to bracketologist. Thanks for being with us.
Oh,
Good to see you again.
It's great to be here.
People are filling out their brackets. Is there any sort of strategy that they should use?
I always use math, but everybody depends on luck to a large extent, even with math. And that's what makes it fun. It's very unpredictable.
What are some of the biggest mistakes people make when they're filling out their bracket?
Picking a lot of upsets early on. Most of the points are earned in the later round. So if you lose a team early on that makes it far into the tournament, which is usually one of the top seeds, then it's hard to win a pool.
Should you always go by seed? Take the bigger seed over the lesser one?
I don't. I look up the specific matchups. A typical Final Four, for example, has 2 1 seeds in it, and the other 2 seeds are 2, 3, or 4 seeds.
So a 1 seed is not a guarantee.
It's not a lock. Yeah.
It's not a guarantee, and in fact, only 1 year have all 1 seeds made it into the Final Four.
Really?
And there has never been a perfect bracket. Is that right?
That is correct. So
no one has ever guessed them all correctly.
Correct. So there's 63 games that would require getting correct. Somebody got as far as 49 games, which was pretty far, and I don't think there's been a close second.
So what are the odds?
9.2 quintillion. 1 in 9.2 quintillion.
So you're better off winning the Powerball has better odds than that.
Way better odds. In fact, there's 100 billion stars in the galaxy, and still there are more than 100 million ways to fill out a bracket than there are stars in the galaxy.
Wow.
So,
wow,
that
very puts it in perspective. What would your #1 piece of advice be for somebody who wanted to fill out a bracket? What would you tell them?
I really focus on looking at the seeds and the path to the Final Four, and that's where I start filling out the Final Four and then filling it all in.
Oh, you start with the Final Four and work backwards?
I do.
That's interesting.
And then I pick some of those other matchups later on. And that's just because the path to the Final Four is really where a lot of the points come in.
Yeah.
There's always a Cinderella team. That's a big upset.
Exactly. So just getting all Final Four teams correctly requires picking a mere 16 games correctly. And still, that so rarely happens. I've never gotten all 4 correct. The Cinderella teams make it much more unlikely. And in fact, we can look after the tournament to see out of the millions and millions of entries, how many entries have gotten all Final Four teams correctly. And when a Cinderella team, like Loyola a few years ago, makes it into the Final Four, there's very, very few brackets that get all Final Four teams correctly.
And it's the matchups where it's like a 7 against an 8. I mean, you got to do some research there.
It's a coin flip. You do some research, but you have to depend on luck. There's no way around it.
Or animal mascots, as we have been known to do in the past. Go with all the animal names.
The owl.
Yeah, right.
So there's no real scientific way to beat this system.
You can't predict that you will win and can't guarantee that you can win every year, but if you use the math, you do the research, you can actually improve your odds. Then if you play year after year, you're more likely to win or to finish near the top on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating.
Laura, fun as always. Thanks for being with us. You going to watch the games?
Absolutely. I'm going to fill out a bracket, and I'm not going to get all correct, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, we could have used her help with our bracket. Yes. Why didn't we think of that?
Laura, thanks for being with us. And